For this video, we have chosen 5 creepy but very different cases that are shrouded in so much mystery that some believe they could be supernatural. Hope you enjoy. Let's begin. Number 1. A Canadian historian, Tim Crook, was surprised to find many World War I diaries consisted of many supernatural encounters where soldiers were reported to be seeing ghosts, and soldiers that were dying would be seen to look up and see their loved ones before them passing away. One soldier, Will Bird, was sleeping in the dugout when his brother Stephen woke him up. Stephen just stared at him, smiling, and gestured to Will to follow him. Moments later, now at safety after following his brother out of the dugout was then hit by shells. What makes the story even more remarkable was that Stephen had been killed 2 years before the incident. Another diary account that was found was written by a soldier named Wallace. He wrote to his mother describing an odd but calm feeling that he couldn't explain. He was buried with corpses when a shell explosion hit during the Battle of the Somme. He said that the battlefield became silent. I waited, scarcely breathing, for something. Waited. It seemed minutes that could only have been seconds. Then it came. Invisible, intangible, but nevertheless, very real. Something came to that place of desolation, stopped a moment and passed on again, he wrote to his mother. A Canadian infantryman also described an odd feeling during his time in battle. You could feel the pulse of the thousands of the dead. You could feel the presence of something not of this earth. Other soldiers would explain in their diaries how they found it strange, how their fellow soldiers would talk about not surviving a certain battle, only for their fears to become reality. Was this a premonition, he would ask. Number 2. Terry Cottle was only 33 years old when he went to the bathroom and committed suicide by shooting himself in the head, leaving his wife Cheryl. In 1995, Sonny Graham was suffering from congestive heart failure. He received the best possible news when the Medical University of South Carolina telling him that they have a heart donor. After a successful surgery, Sonny began to recover. About a year later, he was so thankful to be given his second chance of life that he contacted the agency wanting to thank the family of the donor. He was given the phone number and address to the widow of the donor. It was Cheryl. Sonny Graham had Terry Cottle's heart, the man who committed suicide. After contacting Cheryl by phone, letters and even going to Cheryl's house, the two eventually fell in love. Nearly 10 years later they got married. You would think that this kind of happy ending could only happen in the movies, but this is when the story takes a dark and mysterious twist. 3 years after marrying Cheryl, Sonny went to the garage and shot himself in the head, just like Terry Cottle did over a decade before. He was said to have not suffered depression, and his family was shocked that he took his own life. What's the chances of 2 husbands committing suicide? And to make it even more bizarre, what's the chances of one heart belonging to 2 suicide victims? It made some question whether there was such a thing as cellular memory, where memories could be stored in individual cells. Did the heart carry a suicide gene, or were the men just that unhappy? Who knows, but the story certainly gets you thinking. Number 3. After heavy snowfall in 1855 in South and East Devon, residents were shocked to have woken up to find mysterious footprints that stretched on for over 100 miles. It travelled up doors, across roofs, and even went through 14-foot walls, leaving the snow on top of the wall untouched. It seemed that whatever was making these footprints was able to travel to where no human or animal could. It's like there was no barrier. It was also noted that the way in which the footmarks were set out, one in front of the other, suggested that it was a creature with 2 legs that made these footprints. Some of the locals believed these hoof-like footprints were the tracks of Satan itself. Some of the villagers even accused the church of letting the devil into its community. You see, the church at the time changed its prayer, and some of the locals believed this was their punishment. The mystery that was never solved became known as the Devil's Footprints, or the Great Devon Mystery. More modern theories to what caused these footprints range from hoaxes to kangaroos that escaped from a private zoo. Number 4. In 1961, Barney and Betty Hill were driving back to Portsmouth after their holiday at Niagara Falls. This is where Betty said she saw a bright light in the sky. The light moved from below the moon and the planet Jupiter. At first Betty thought that she was witnessing a falling star. That was until the light moved upwards to the rest of the moon. Betty then urged her husband to stop driving as the light got bigger. After observing the object, the Hills then got back in their car and drove through mountainous stretches of road where the UFO that was silent began descending towards their vehicle. This made Barney stop the car again, where he then got his binoculars to look at the UFO. He said he saw 11 humanoid figures just staring at him from the UFO. "Get back in the car, Betty, they're going to capture us," Barney shouted to his wife. After getting back in the car again, the Hills began to hear buzzing sounds, which they said seemed to bounce off the trunk of their vehicle. The car vibrated and their bodies began tingling. They were now experiencing an altered state of consciousness that left their minds dulled. Arriving back at dawn, both Barney and Betty said they felt weird sensations. Their watches stopped working and the straps to their binoculars and even their clothing were torn. A few days later, Betty was having vivid dreams that she and Barney were abducted by what she described as aliens. Humanoid figures that had black hair and dark eyes. Their skin was a greyish colour. These aliens would then do experiments on Benny and Betty on their UFO. The Hills were interviewed on several occasions by NICAP, a UFO organisation where they even put the Hills under hypnosis. This is where they described in detail of their horrifying experience of being abducted and experimented on. They took and passed a lie detecting test on national TV. Number 5. There is a bizarre mystery in Scotland where a bridge seems to be attracting dogs to commit suicide. But why? The Overtoun Bridge was built in 1895. It has 4-foot concrete walls on either side, and dog owners and scientists are puzzled as to why over 600 dogs have felt the need to leap over the 4-foot wall. 50 foot below the bridge are rocks and a waterfall where over 50 dogs have tragically died. What's even more puzzling is that all the dogs have felt the need to jump off the right side of the wall, but never to the left side. Some of the dogs that have jumped and survived are said to have jumped again when they later returned to the bridge. Some of the locals believe there is a dark energy, a ghost of the White Lady of Overtoun, that has been seen haunting the bridge for over 100 years. One local told the media it's a barrier between the world of the living and the world of the dead, where they meet and sometimes cross over. In 1994, Kevin Moy chucked his baby off the bridge, claiming that his son was the Antichrist. Kevin later returned to the bridge at the same spot and he tried to commit suicide. Paul Owens, a philosophy teacher, said that in 2013 he felt like he was being pushed. He felt a hand pressed on his back pushing him towards the wall of the bridge. "Something wanted me to commit suicide," he told the media. Locals got so scared by this phenomenon that they contacted an animal specialist, Dr. David Sands, to investigate. He came to a conclusion that it could be dogs that are just curious as to what's underneath the bridge. Another specialist said it could be dogs being attracted to minks. A local hunter disagrees though, saying that there are no minks in the area. A sign now warns dog owners, reading, "Dangerous bridge, please keep your dogs on their lead." If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. What case did you find to be the creepiest or most fascinating? If you have any other information on these cases, then please share by commenting on the video. Thank you for watching.